guys, welcome back to my channel. This is my second time filming this intro, and I actually started to do the video and then my phone stopped recording, so here we are. I am doing a look, I'm recreating a look I did the other day. I posted on Snapchat, I got a DM, I believe your name was Sierra. I took a screenshot, but I film on my phone, as most of you know, and I can't look at the picture. I just looked at it, but I think your name was Sierra. I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but I think that was what your name was. And she asked me if I could recreate the really warm look I did the other day, and I will gladly do that for you. And girl, I used 4 different eyeshadow palettes to create this look the other day. I didn't film it, I wasn't planning on filming it, but I just used 4 different palettes because they were 4. I just really wanted to play with certain colors, and so I just used these 4 palettes. You definitely do not need these 4 palettes. If you have all 4, you could recreate this look with no problem. But also you could recreate this look if you have single shadows from Makeup Geek, ColourPop, Anastasia, all that. So I think Dose of Colors has a palette that has a lot of colors similar to this. And you, like I said, you definitely do not need all of these. I just have all of these because I have a serious problem. I'm going to show you guys the 4 palettes I used. That way you're on the same page as me. And then we're going to go ahead and get started. The first one I used was the Too Faced Clover palette. They're all limited edition, but they're all still available. And I'll have them linked down below with my social media and all the other products I use like I always do. But this is what the Clover palette looks like. This is a really nice palette. If you've been thinking about it, I would highly recommend it. I absolutely love this. It's one of the best palettes I tried in a long time. This is one of my absolute favorites. And I only used a couple of the matte shades out of here. I used more of the brown tones from in here, so you could definitely just get some of those. Most palettes have the shades that I use from in here, but I just wanted to play with this palette because I haven't played with it that much. So this is the Anastasia Prism palette. This was limited edition for holiday 2017, and if you've been thinking about this, I would highly recommend it. It is unbelievably creamy and blendable. I know there was some controversy about the Subculture palette. I do not have the Subculture palette, but this one is just like the Modern Renaissance. So if you have the Modern Renaissance and you've been thinking about this one, but you were afraid because of the Subculture incident, this one is just like the Modern Renaissance, if not better. I do prefer the Modern Renaissance just because of the tones in it, but this one's really good. I only used a couple of the reddish orangey tones out of here, so like I said, you could easily just find these shadows really anywhere. Most palettes probably have shades similar to this, but I was just being difficult for myself. I also used the Pure My Little Pony the Movie palette. I did a review video on this palette a couple months ago, I believe, and I absolutely love this. I only used 2 shades out of here, and yeah, I absolutely adore this. So this is actually the only red in this palette, is the only one red I have, so that's why I use this one. And then the Lorac Pirates Caribbean Treasure in the Stars palette. This palette is not available at Kohl's anymore, which is where I bought mine, but it is available at Lorac.com, and like I said, I will have a link down below. I only used 1 shade out of here. I used this Treasure shade, which is this one right here in the center, and Makeup Geek, I think, has a shade almost identical to this. I don't have any Makeup Geek shadows, but I have seen it on the internet several times. I think it's called Flamethrower or something like that. This is just the shade that I have. I probably have shades very similar to other palettes, but this is just the one I use, so I want to recreate it as close as I possibly can. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Subscribe to my channel if you aren't already. And that was a mouthful. I take a drink. This is my maid of honor cup for my sister's wedding. Isn't it cute? It has my name on it. Alright, so I already primed my lips with the Merlot Lip Revive, and this is when I figured out that my phone stopped filming. But this is really nice for filling in the lines on your lips. I used a liquid lip in the picture, or last time I did this look, and I want to use the same thing, so I absolutely adore this. I'm going to start with the face, because I did the face first the other day. I'm going to use one of my all-time favorite primers. This is the Laura Geller Spackle Tinted Under Makeup Primer in Champagne. If you have dry skin, you need this. I love Laura Geller primers. I've tried 2 of them, and I love both of them. I'm not a fan of their liquid lipsticks. I think that's like the only product I've ever tried by them that I didn't really like, but their bronzer, as you guys know, is my absolute favorite bronzer. And they have a lipstick also that I really like, but I did not like their liquid lipsticks. They were just really, really, really drying. And I don't really like that, but if you don't have a problem with like dry things on your lips, you probably really like them, but I couldn't get behind them. Alright, we're going to try this foundation again. hopefully I can make up my mind about it. This is the CoverGirl Vitalist Healthy Elixir Foundation. This one is in the shade 705 Ivory. I've tried this foundation several times, and sometimes it looks amazing and other times it just looks awful. So I'm hoping I can make up my mind about it, because sometimes I really like it and other times I absolutely hate it. But I think it depends on how dry my skin is. And right now my skin is kind of dry, so hopefully it works. So I'm going to pump 3 pumps on the back of my hands, and I'm doing 3 because this foundation, like, the pumps are really small, so there's not a whole lot to do. I'm going to pick it up straight off with the sponge. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in the shade 15 Fair. I don't really like this concealer, but I'm just trying to use it up because I do have it. I don't like this because there is like it's not very, there's not a lot of coverage to it. I do have to set this concealer because it will crease, and I also have fine lines under my eyes, so I don't like that, and I don't like it. I'm going to bake today. I'm going to use the Coty Airspun Loose Face Powder in Translucent Extra Coverage 074-1. It's a mouthful. This is the only powder I have. Alright, I'm still trying out this powder. This is the e.l.f. Finishing Powder in the shade Fair Light. This is from their Beautifully Bare collection, and I don't know how I feel about this. I'm still testing it out, like I said, and I've had it for about 2 weeks now, and I'm still indecisive if I like it or not. I mean, it does a fine job. It's just, I think I have other powders that work a lot better. I'm going to dust away the powder underneath my eyes, because if I leave it sitting too long, it is just a big mess. I really have been liking the way this powder has been contouring me again. I stopped using it, but now I recently started using it again. This is the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Contouring Palette in Dulce de Leche, and I'm going to use the darker shade to contour. I think I used this in my last video as well. Not entirely sure, but sometimes, like I said, my 2017 favorites, I keep referencing that video, but this is like the only video I've really talked about a lot of products in. This powder can be a little bit too orange sometimes. Alright, for bronzer, the other day I used the Too Faced Little Black Book of Bronzers, but I used the Snow Bunny bronzer, which is this one right here. I hope this bronzer itself is still available. I know the book isn't, but I think all the bronzers in here are available. Okay, for blush, I'm pretty sure I used the Revlon Oh Baby Pink blush, because this blush goes with absolutely everything, so I'm pretty sure this is the one I used, but if not, this one I'm using today. For highlighter, I used the Tarte Amazonian Clay Highlighter and Exposed Highlight. This is a really nice highlighter. There are little bitty pieces of glitter in it though, so if you don't like any glitter in your highlighters, you probably won't like this, but I don't like glitter in my highlighters, but this glitter doesn't fall everywhere, and it's so fine, you can't really see it, but it is there. Primer time. I'm going to use the Lorac Behind the Scenes Eye Primer. I know you guys are probably sick of seeing this product, but I only have 2 eye primers, and my special one is almost empty. So until I get a new primer, this is the one I will be using. I'm going to show you which color I'm using out of each palette, and I will tell you as well, but I may not remember to say which palette it is. So they all look different, but that's why I showed you them all at the beginning. So I'm going to take the Pure My Little Pony the Movie palette, and I'm going to use shade Rarity, which is this white right here, and I'm going to use that to set that eye primer. Now from the Clover palette, I'm going to take the shade Chihuahua, which is this one right here. I'm going to put that in my crease as my transition color. Okay, from the Clover palette again, I'm going to take the shade Fur Baby, which is this really warm brown right here. It's also another matte. And I'm going to take it on the same brush, and I'm going to put this also in my crease, but a little bit lower, and focusing it on the outer part of my eye. Alright, I'm going to go back in with the shade Chihuahua, which again is this one right here, and I'm going to use that to blend out the edges. I will go back into Chihuahua several times. Now dipping into the Prism palette, I'm going to take the shade... I gotta find a proper brush first. One second. Take the shade Eden, which is this one right here. It's really, really warm. And I'm going to take that on a smaller blending brush. Put that in my crease as well. This color is a base for our darker color, which we're going to go into next. And that Fur Baby color does kind of get covered up, but I added it just so the warmth of that color peeks through. So Fur Baby, you definitely don't absolutely have to add it, but that's just what I did. I'm going to go back in with Chihuahua, which is this one. And you're probably going to get sick of me pointing at it. And I'm going to blend that out. I'm barely picking any of this color up because I don't want to take away the warmth of the Eden shadow. Now we're going to take the Prism palette again, and we're going to take the shade Saturn, which is this one right here. It's super, super warm, on a flat but kind of fluffy brush, and run that through my crease. Directly on top of that Eden shadow, but not as high. We're going to take the same brush I had Chihuahua on without picking up any extra product and blend out the edges. Take the Pirates palette, and we're going to take the shade, if I can get it open, Treasure, which is this one, and we're going to take that on our finger and pack that all over the lid. Alright, so now I'm going to take the My Little Pony palette again, and I'm going to take the shade Tempest Shadow. I always want to call it Temperist, but it's Tempest Shadow, which is a matte red, and I'm going to pick that up. The red you really don't need, but it does add a little bit of definition, if you can see that, between all the orange shades, and that's what I wanted. Take the blending brush again and blend this out. We're going to take the brush that had Saturn on it and re-intensify Treasure shade one more time and re-intensify it because all the blending kind of brushed it away. We're going to take the shades Chihuahua and Fur Baby mixed together, which are these two from the Clover palette, and we're going to run those across our lower lash line. Then we're going to take the shade Saturn, which is this one, and run that across our lower lash line as well. And we're going to take a clean blending brush and blend all of that together. Now for the Clover palette, I'm going to use the shade Puppy Eyes, which is the white, shimmery white in here. And I'm going to use that to highlight my inner corner. Alright, we're going to go into the My Little Pony palette real quick and highlight our brow bone. As soon as I find a brush, we're going to take the shade Rarity. Now I'm going to apply the Maybelline Lash Sensational Mascara. I'm going to take the Smashbox Always Sharp waterproof kohl liner in the shade Raven and line my waterline. Now for the lip, I know a lot of you guys were really curious about what lip it was. It was the Too Faced Melted Matte Drop Dead Red Liquid Lipstick. Alright guys, and that is the completed look. I love this liquid lipstick because it makes my teeth look super, super white. But yeah, I really, really like this look. It's really, really warm, and I love warm eyeshadow. So subscribe to my channel if you aren't already, and I will see you in my next video. Whew, it's been a long day.